Get ready for a VOR Flashback.
For those who haven't heard us talk about that before, that's the rumor, was that since it wasn't going to be Wookiees at the end of Return of the Jedi, they decided to make a shorter version, and those were the Ewoks.
And be glad that they worked a little bit longer, because instead of the cost-effective little bear suits, they were going to be using the Yuzum, which turned out to be the Yuzum, like Joe Yowza. That was the original one of the original designs.
I've seen that in the sketch design stuff.
Yeah.
Could you just imagine hairy cockroaches?
Well,
upright, hairy fucking cockroaches running around saving.
Well, you look at his design, you think the Muppets were bad now? Or during Return of the Jedi?
Yeah.
If it was going to be Yuzum, like they originally designed, because,
yeah.
We saw the CG version, and that was only one, and he was already too Muppety.
Yeah.
It would have been all Muppets. You just would have seen the tops of these motherfuckers running through the trees with their little stick arms and their spears.
Yeah.
Think about that.
It would have turned into like Dark Crystal, which was good for what it was, and so was Labyrinth, which is good for what it was. But it was Star Wars. It made it so freaking cutesy, and that's always been the killing point, the obvious cute thing that they had to throw in there. Now I know there's a balance and blah 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 blah.
One complaint / idea that I kept hearing was that George always wanted to merchandise cute, cute. So he wanted a Wookiee. A Wookiee mug.
A Wookiee mug.
And he kept talking about stuff like that. And that
I don't think he created Wookiees, not to derail you, but I don't think he created the Wookiees just to have a Wookiee mug, though.
Actually, that's the quote.
I don't know.
No, but that from the beginning, he wanted something. I want something cute like my dog, and like the Ewoks stem from that.
He did, but I don't think that's the whole reason he created things like Wookiees. Now, with the Ewoks, by that time, he was fully versed in the marketing of all this stuff. So I could totally see.
That's what he did. But the way that I heard it was that that the Wookiees never really took off how the way that he kind of thought they would. He thought there would be a lot more merchandising from, Chewie.
Yeah,
and there was, but there just wasn't to the degree that he thought.
Yeah.
So he thought, well, let's make them cuter. That's the story I heard.
Okay.
And I think it's in that gold and black book that Padawan Eagle hates so much, that
she hates
collectible.
It.
Yeah, someone gave it to her.
Oh man, that was a good book.
And she hated it. Well, she's not about the toys.
Yeah.
She's all about Jason and Jaina and the grandkids of people that no one gives a shit about. Oh, Jagged fell. Jagged. Your name is so jagged, Fell.
Ooh, Carnal Jax. That's going to be my porn name in Star Wars.
Carnal Jax?
Carnal
I got to
Jax.
say, in regards to the Ewoks, I think their eyes were great.
You know what?
Their eyes were what?
Great. I loved the eyes. I think that looking back, those big, beady, glassy, hamster-looking eyes, they looked very realistic. And it felt like you were looking at something different. And they had semi-human teeth.
Yeah. And not all the eyes were dead black. It was some of them had irises and stuff. And it just made them. They didn't blink. But
no, they didn't. But they looked as though they gave off emotions and things like that. So I think for what they were, you got his money's worth.
Well, there was also the Pact. Early on in George Lucas' career, he a little bit before film school, he was in a horrible car wreck, and Billy Barty saved him. And they had a life pact, and George Lucas said that every third movie that he creates or has something to do with, he will employ as many midgets as he could, or little people. And so it just happened that its time was up, and we're gonna have to do one.
Oh,
it's either that or Temple of Doom was gonna be full of pygmies. Either way,
nothing but pygmies.
Return of the Jedi was just on the docket first.
Oh, I could see that.
But what about the Jawas? You already had the Jawas. Well, there was Adrian.
THX had one, and Billy Barty came to him in a dream and said, "That's not enough. We need many." So they did Jawas.
Yeah, I think Adrian Bloodshocker was the kind of made the deal not
clean.
It wasn't a clean all midget cast because it wasn't all midgets. So that's what he wanted. He wanted no 14-year-olds, no short adult males.
Kenny Baker was knighted by the midget queen, and as long as he had Kenny Baker in every movie, he kind of staved off the main curse.
Did I ever tell you? But my dad took me to go meet Kenny Baker over at Sci-Fi City.
Oh, really?
When he was in town, and my dad drove his old Ford Fairlane. He had this awesome Ford Fairlane convertible, and he threw his R2-D2 figures in the back and his son in the front and said, "Let's go." And we went over there, and we waited in line, and Kenny was there, and Kenny's a, bless him, twisted little guy, and the mean sense. And my dad was sitting there the whole time for like a good half hour, sitting there talking cars with Kenny Baker, and Kenny was like real close to buying my old man's car, and eventually didn't pull through with it.
That's right, you did mention that.
Old Ford Fairlane.
Like, did your dad creep him out with all that R2-D2 shit?
Yeah. And the funny thing about it was I was kind of standing there staring at him like, and getting him to sign stuff. And then he's kind of like, "Okay, here you go. Sign." "Yeah, Mr. Wagner." And they were just sitting there talking one another. And I couldn't even get a word in edgewise to talk about Star Wars because my dad had to fuck it all up by talking car shit.
The weirdest shit that
feed you.
That Mike's dad had going on was that he'd built a total recreation of one of the ending scenes of Time Bandits with the floating cages, and he really wanted to trick Kenny Baker back to the house to tie him to a rope.
Exactly what it
made
was.
Of all the other twine, and see if they can really recreate it.
I thought I had that movie out of my head.
VOR Flashback.